Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Wellness Wednesday Zoom, our online wellness call. And I am really excited for tonight's call because we have two really great athletes. These are two people that I believe take it to the next level. They take it to another level in their athletic, their endeavors, their athletic endeavors, I would say. First of all, we have Stephen, and his workouts. They don't frighten me, but I would be almost afraid to have him as my coach because he is just incredible workouts. And he is a certified resistance training coach, very active in the CrossFit world. He's from Winnipeg, and I'm just always been really impressed when I see his dedication to his workouts. I mean, we're just chatting about him working out in minus 40-degree weather and frozen eyelashes, and I mean, still working out. So if anybody is dedicated to getting the best from the workouts, I would say that Stephen would be your guy. So first we're going to chat with him, and then after we're going to also chat with Chris Bartholomew, who is from, he lives close to Pleasanton in California right now, and he's always posting amazing pictures of himself running, and always so impressed with his running. Now, when I say he's a long distance runner, I am not kidding. He's training for, it's called a UTMB, Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc 145K race in August in the French Alps. 145K, I could maybe run 1K, maybe 4, maybe 5, but 145 altogether, I don't know. So I'm very impressed. I'm just really looking forward to hearing what you all have to say about how we can increase our results from our workouts and also reduce risk of injury and just how we can just up our game overall. So Stephen, if I can first ask you two questions, have you always been involved in sports? Is this something that's been a lifelong thing for you?
You know what? I guess I've always been like kind of active, like, you know, as a kid in high school and whatnot, you know, just playing school sports and intramurals and that kind of thing. But to actually say like in competitive sports, like not really. Like I found CrossFit and I kind of started competing after 5-6 years into that sport, and so just I've been active but not super competitive. No.
Okay, so when did that start for you? So what was your motivation for starting to be so active? Because right now, if I watch, I mean, you are, I think you're quite inspirational in how active you are. So what got that going for you?
It all started about 12 or 13 years ago, and we're Canadian, right? So we spend a lot of time doing outdoor sports in the winter. I used to love playing like outdoor sponge hockey. So it's hockey, but instead of skates, you have like special broom ball shoes, right? So you could grip the ice. So I used to love that sport, and I have an office job. I work in marketing, so as I sat more and did less and less and got fatter and fatter, hockey became something that I used to be good at. I was starting to suck it up, right? I was getting to be out of shape, and it was really affecting my hockey, something that I loved. So I don't know, after 4 or 5 years of this just going downhill or taking 1-minute shifts on the ice and then getting off and getting sick because that's how out of shape I was, I said, this is enough. This is crazy. And I finally wanted to do something about it. So switched my diet, started training, and then that was my inspiration for getting more fit.
That's awesome. Actually, I remember seeing some of your before and after pictures, and actually I wish we had them here to show because, again, they're inspirational. Now, did you always use vitamins, protein drinks? Like, did you always use different products? And if you use them, why did you use them?
I think I started using them like when I started that fitness journey. I remember talking to I was taking the conditioning camp, which I didn't know was CrossFit at the time, but about 3 or 4 months into that journey, I went up to my coach and I'm like, hey, I'm seeing people walk around with like stuff they're buying from me, like protein powders and multivitamins. Like, what is that stuff all about? And his answer to me was, well, you know what, if you're asking into what this stuff was supposed to do to you, I trusted him. I took his word for it, and I just started using it. and kind of what I found, or what I learned over the few years working with him was, I knew what it was supposed to do, but I really wasn't feeling what it was supposed to do. Like it wouldn't make me any less sore. It wouldn't make me run any faster or do any of these things more, right? So it was kind of just I was taking it and I didn't know why.
Okay, so that's interesting. So that sounds like a lot of people. I know so many people are just looking for, something to enhance the results, something to help them, and so they're going to the stores and just getting whatever they think is best, right? And just, but I know for myself, if I walk in there, I kind of feel like I'm going in blind almost because there's so much information and we don't really know what is best. What do we use? So what stimulated the switch for you to the Shackley brand? And did you have any doubts about giving that a try?
Oh yeah, I, lots of depth, right? Because like the time that I was introduced into Shackley, I think I'd been in like my fitness journey probably for 6 or 7 years at the time, and I was just kind of that last year. It's like, you know what? Like this stuff is not regulated. It's not working for me. It's not doing anything. It's not making me any less sore. Like I slowly actually started phasing out of my training routines. And it just so happened where a marketing client who was a Shackley distributor came and talked to me and introduced me to Shackley. And honestly, it's like, yeah, here's another one of these people that is giving me another one of these products that have never helped me, right? So, but she was a but I kind of gave myself an out, right? Just being honest and upfront. If this stuff doesn't work, I'm out. And I did try it, and I tried it after a CrossFit workout called Karen, which is the 20-pound medicine ball, and you squat it and you throw it up to a 10-foot target 150 times per time. So I thought that was a really good test because usually my legs are pretty sore after that. And the next day, I woke up after trying the Shackley product, and it's like, something a little different about this stuff. Like I'm feeling good, right? Like, so I knew right away that there was something a little different in the Shackley product.
Okay, so that's awesome. So from that experience, what did you branch out into next? So you decided, okay, this stuff probably works. What did you try next? And how did it change things for you?
I think the next thing I moved on to was the multivitamin. I mean, price wise, it made sense. It was cheaper than what I was buying. I learned that it had over 50 years of research. Like Shackley invented the multivitamin, right? So if I'm going to be paying for something, like pay less for something that someone invented, like yeah. So I started taking the Shacky Multi, and then I literally just subbed out everything because I was taking fish oil, like omegas. I was taking protein plus branched chain amino acids because what I learned later was the protein that I was taking didn't have all 9 essential amino acids, which is why my trainer had me on 2 products, right? So to create a full protein molecule. So I really just switched everything out. And I guess ultimately what I found is I was feeling so much more recovered. And that enabled me to go from, hitting the gym 3 times a week to like 5 times a week. And you walk into the gym and everyone's talking about how sore they are. And it's like, sorry, I'm not, right? So that's kind of what it
That's awesome. So besides just the workout, is there anything else where you can say, okay, where it changed other things in your life? Like, did you find more energy through the day? Are there other things that you could say that you found a difference as well?
You know what, Julie, there's so many products, and like I use them all. So it's not just the sports nutrition line. I use the foundation plans, the life shake and the vitamin strip in the morning. So that sets me up like on a really good plan throughout the day. I eat clean. I do my Shackley sports nutrition products after the workout, and it just all of it combined. Like I feel honestly like better than I ever have. Like I'm aging in reverse, right? And it's not just me; it's my whole family. Like my wife has gone through. She's made so many strides in her health. Like it's absolutely incredible. So when you get on this stuff and you do it how you're supposed to, you're gonna feel like amazing.
That is awesome. So you kind of mentioned a little bit about what has changed for your days. Can you share with us, first of all, I'd like to know just what are your favorite products? And then I want to get into a few of your tips for the rest of us for enhancing your workouts. So what are your favorite products? What would you recommend for people who are just starting out? What are the main things that they need to know about?
I guess if I have a lot of people come to me like, looking for a protein powder or whatever. If I had just one or two products to promote, I would say I love the whey build product from the sports nutrition line. I love that stuff. I also love the PM recovery. It is absolutely amazing, and we compete quite a bit, me and a few guys, and that is our secret weapon. I remember going down to North Dakota last December, or a year ago in December before COVID came, and it was a 3-day competition. So we're hitting like 3 to 5 workouts a day over 3 days, right? So they're jamming in all sorts of stuff. So come Sunday, like everyone's pretty beat up, right? So in here, like I'm feeding my teammates PM recovery, right? Every event that day. So it really does make a difference. So those would be my 2 favorite products.
Okay, that's excellent. That's great. That's great. Those are great tips. So actually, from these competitions that you do, I know you've landed on the podium a few times. So can you maybe share with us what is one of your highlight moments?
My highlight moment. Okay, so it was a year ago, January. So about a month after that competition, we came back to Winnipeg and we do something this year it was called the Comp. So I think it was the last workout, and my partner was hurt. So it was a partner workout. So it involved a whole bunch of thrusters, and I think it was like every 21 reps, you increased the weight, and you did that 3 times. So you started at 75, then 95, then 150. So this workout was supposed to be shared between 2 people, but my partner's shoulder was busted up. So I essentially did all of his work as well, and we came in second in that event to actually place on the podium. So that was pretty memorable for me.
I actually remember seeing you post about that one, and that was pretty impressive. So, so would you say that by using the Shackley products, it has definitely enhanced your game?
I would say that using the Shackley products has helped my recovery game huge. And because of that, I am able to hit the gym 2 more times a week. And that in itself that's where my gains come in, right? Like being recovered, being able to hit the gym more often, it becomes that vicious circle, right? That sweet circle.
Okay. Now I was going to ask you, maybe what are some of your tips for helping people avoid injury, so workout injury? But I think you've sort of answered that by saying that the key is in the recovery. So would you say, like, what are some of your tips, real quick, just for avoiding workout injury?
For sure. And I've heard a lot of, like, Eli Bremner is a perfect guy to talk to. He says that your recovery is much more important. Like, focus on your recovery. It's much more important what you do after a workout than what you do before. Now, what you do before is important, like proper nutrition, hydrating well. Like, this is all a given. We all need to do that. Everyone on earth has to do that. But if we hit a really intense workout and we have a really poor recovery game, we've essentially done all that work for nothing. We've just put ourselves in a deficit. And if we try to out-train that deficit, that's when muscles get fatigued and we are susceptible to injury for sure. So, and of course working with a good coach as well, of course.
Okay. Thank you so much, Stephen. That was great information. And I really hope that one of the great takeaways that I took away from that was just that it's so important that we focus on the recovery time. So it's not just what we do in the gym. We can work it out hard, but like you said, by recovering properly, you're actually increasing the times you can go to the gym. So really great answers. Thank you so much. Now let's turn things over to Christopher. I have the same type of questions to ask Christopher, and I'm just excited to hear your perspective. It's going to be a little bit different, I'm sure, because you're a long distance runner. So perhaps your training schedule and everything is a little bit different. I mean, if you're training to run 145 kilometers, I'm sure that you are doing some intense training. So we'd love to hear just first of all, have you always been involved in sports? Have you always been a runner, and have you always been very athletic?
Well, thanks. And again, it's so great to be here talking with you and Stephen about my favorite subject. But I can't say that I've been an athlete, but I've always been excited or enjoyed being outside. So that's one. And then when I was younger in grade school, my grandpa had a series of heart attacks, and that just terrified me. And also that coincided with a mile run program that was on a national level, run by Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, and so you could get a medal if you ran a mile. And so all of those things kind of came together, and I decided when I was really young, probably in fourth or fifth grade, that I wanted to be active in a cardiovascular kind of way, so that I would have a healthy heart and not have to go through what I was seeing everybody on both sides of my family going through when they got older.
Okay, so your motivation for being so active now, it really was completely like a health motivator.
Yeah, when I look back on it, when I was young, it really was. I mean, it was maybe fear-based at that point and transitioned into something I totally love. But that's kind of what got me going.
So did you always use vitamins and protein powders or rehydration drinks, or did you always use these type of things right from the get-go?
No, actually. So I think most of us, I think it's just human nature, at least for maybe stubborn people like me. When I first started running and doing races and group events, I thought, oh, I've got everything I need inside of me. I don't need any of this like sugar water or these magic pills to make anything better. And that kind of persisted for several years until I actually started working at Shackley. And even after working with Shackley, I was kind of skeptical about everything, because I would go to these races and they would have gels and, the neatest, coolest little things. And I thought, well, Shackley isn't bright and shiny, so maybe I don't need to take Shackley. And then one day I was working at the home office, setting up an event outside. It was really hot. I was drinking the rehydration, the Hydrate Plus all day long. And then I went for my run after work, and I noticed that I never ran out of energy, and I actually finished my 10-mile route a half an hour faster than I did on every other day. And so that experience made me think, okay, wait a second, I'm onto something here, and I work for the company. How lucky am I? Like, this is the coolest thing. And so that really opened the door for me to explore nutrition options.
So that is actually really neat, because so many times I hear from people that just, people telling them about Shackley, and I myself, same thing. I was very skeptical and I didn't want to try it, and somebody made me try it, and also like, oh, hey, there's something different here. This actually works. And so it's interesting that you had the same experience, and I can't believe it. You were actually working for the company. So, so after trying that, the Hydrate, so you realize, okay, this maybe will help your performance in running. What was the next thing that you decided to try?
Well, let's see. So I think that opened up the potential for me, because I'm not young, right? Like, and my mindset was, I'm getting older. I'm not going to be able to run anymore, because all runners talk about their knees breaking down and everything else. And so I kind of branched out, because I thought, wait a second, like with proper nutrition, that might not be true. Like, I think I can get stronger. I can feel younger. I can reach goals no matter what age I am. And so I definitely thought, okay, I need my core nutrition taken care of. So a multivitamin, Shackley has so many awesome options. My personal favorite, I love Meology. I also love Life Strip, because it just has just a great complement of everything you really need for that foundation. And then Life Shake as kind of my basis for it. Not only like a morning protein smoothie, but if I'm burning so many calories all day long, I need something to fill the gaps. And Life Shake really does that for me. It gives me the protein I need. It's satisfying, and it helps me make it to the next meal for sure.
So, okay, that's excellent. So now, besides just the running, for helping it improve your running and your results and your time and everything else, have you noticed anything else different? Has using these products changed your days at all? Do you find anything different with You were mentioning about your joints or about energy, or has it changed other things for you?
Yeah, so I would say what I have noticed. So I would say I was kind of a recreational runner before, and I am still definitely, but I definitely have goals now. And so that consistent training paired with the Shackley nutrition, what I have noticed is I sleep like a rock, like I go through my day and then at a certain time of night, it's like, okay, this is it. I'm going to bed right now. And I get in bed and I just drop off, which I never had before. And also like my energy levels through the day. I think focusing on nutrition and also training has made me think of food as something that's going to have an output. So I always try to concentrate on clean food that I'm confident isn't going to have, like sugar drop-offs or other things that are going to affect me negatively. But I would, sorry, that was a tangent, but really I've noticed with this change in diet and supplements, I don't have the 2 or 3 o'clock energy drop-off every day that I used to have. That was a consistent part of life. And I thought, oh, this is how it's going to be from now on. But that's gone. I sleep better. I definitely feel like I have more energy. And then I wake up. I never thought I'd be a morning running person, but I can go to bed and I feel so exhausted. And, like when you're exhausted, you start doubting yourself and, like you get crazy thoughts. But then I wake up and I'm ready to jump out of bed and go like run and take on the day. And I feel amazing. And, that's just priceless. And that's really what that for me, that's the most significant part is, no matter how I feel when I go to bed, when I wake up, I feel restored and energetic and ready to go.
That is really neat. Now, that goes back to what Steven said, kind of like we're aging in reverse. So, and I love what you said too. Like you thought, okay, as I'm getting older, so, I'm going to have the sore knees and I won't be able to run as much. And I mean, you're obviously not slowing down if you're going to be running 125K. So I think that's great. And actually just put this in perspective. How many miles did you run last year? Was it miles or kilometers?
Well, I ran 3,000 miles in aggregate, so I'm not sure what that translates to in kilometers. So someone will have to do a quick Google search. But so it was the 3,000 miles. But then what also I'm most proud of is I climbed 400,000 feet, which is, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe close to 150,000 or 200,000. No, wait, am I in reverse? Anyway. But so I was really, really proud of my distance, but then also my elevation gain over the year. So
yes, well, so I know you kept posting pictures, and it was like you wanted to hit your goals, and your goal was to hit so many miles, and so it was 3,000 miles, and you hit it, and I think that is just amazing. So through a whole year, that's what you did. So with all that running, people might be, a little bit afraid of injury or whatnot. So what are your tips for runners to help them reduce the risk of injury?
So Stephen was kind of talking about this too, but when you become consistent and have like an everyday appointment to move in some way, and for me, that's often running every day. That recovery and like your energize, hydrate, build, and recover phases that you would think would be blocked out in nice segregated chunks, they all blur together. And so it's like you're recovering and you're resting and you're working out all at the same time a lot of times. So my tip, if I had a tip, was, make an appointment to move every day. And maybe that changes every day, but you've got to get that consistency, I think, to get your body in a rhythm and to get it used to movement, but also to get you in that, that like higher echelon of performance for your body. And, you definitely can vary that. Maybe it's active recovery, maybe you're stretching and yoga one day. But for me, what really works is just maybe I still run, but maybe I slow down on a day after a hard day. And so I really believe in that active recovery. Like if you're just sitting around, which is necessary sometimes, it's not going to give you the best results. I think your body responds well to, pushing through those barriers that come up. And, definitely be mindful of injury and all of that. But I think if you challenge yourself a little bit to push through how you're feeling you're going to be rewarded.
Now, pushing through, but also layering on with that, again, with what Stephen said as well, is pushing through with the right fuel.
Yes.
And I think that's probably the what do you call it? Not the trifecta, but probably the key there, because we have, you want to do the workout, you want to recover, but if you don't have the right amount of fuel to do active recovery, you could actually cause some damage.
And
so,
and Stephen's the expert. I am not certified, but I do have a lot of personal experience in the matter.
Yeah, well, I remember you telling me one time I was complaining about being sore, and then you said about, I think it was Mark Ramirez told you after you were sore from a run, he said to you, go run, and that was active recovery, and it does work, but it works best with the right fuel. So for you, you're saying again the right fuel. You're saying the life shakes and the right vitamins. Like for you, that's your base. What about for people who are like weekend warriors? Do you think for them as well, is that the perfect base for them, the life shakes and the strips? Is there anything else you would layer on top of that?
Yeah, so for me, that's the foundation, but then I do use, I use all of the sports line products, and I really love them because they are clean and they're like really pure and simple formulations that give your body what it needs when it needs it. And I have the added benefit, working at corporate, I was involved in getting our sports line certified with the Banned Substances Control Group. You may have noticed a seal on there. And so that was driven by me and my relationship with our Olympic athletes, realizing that we need something, we can tell people to trust us, but we also need something to say, hey, you don't have to take my word for it. There's this third party that has also certified that. And so I really love that about Shackley. Not only do we have incredible production, the safest, the best production, we also have a third party to certify that. And really, when I think of taking any other products, I think, wow, I don't trust this. I really don't trust this. And so, yes, the build protein that Stephen talked about, like that's an everyday. The PM recovery complex, sometimes I take that twice a day. Yeah, maybe that's not recommended, but I really love that one. And then the hydrate products, I use both the low calorie and the hydrate plus every single day. And every once in a while, I need a little caffeine boost. And so I do take the energy chews every morning right before my run.
Those are great tips. I'm really looking forward to implementing a few more of these things. And with the nicer weather coming back, I'm sure more of us are going to be outside running and doing more of these things again as well. So just to finish things off, I would love to hear, just because you have so much experience working with Shackley and also interviewing the Pure Performance team who are actually Olympians who use the Shackley products. What would you say would be maybe your favorite thing about using the Shackley brand? I mean, you said you can trust it and it works. Is there anything else that we should know about just who this company is? Why can we trust them? I mean, you yourself are working for them and you didn't really know that you needed it till you tried it, right? So how could you impress upon the rest of us that it really is important for us to use a good, clean brand like this?
Yeah, like Stephen mentioned, this is an unregulated segment of nutrition out there. And it's so important to find a company that, like Shackley, that I feel like in many ways I stumbled upon and I'm so lucky to have found, that really has like nutrition and integrity and purity built into its DNA. It really does, from the beginning with Dr. Shackley when he came up with the first multivitamin that was kind of ingrained in the company. And this past year, with all of its challenges, what I have enjoyed a lot is we get together as a company with Roger Barnett, our CEO, every Friday for a meeting. And he has brought up so many times how through all the supply chain problems we've had as a company that many companies have shared, one thing that really stood out to him, even though it's been so difficult to get ingredients and products produced this past year, is just how all the companies out there that have worked for us recognize us as one of the most stringent companies in existence, because we will take the time to get it right, no matter what. And even if our products go on back order, it's because on that. And that's a tremendous source of pride for me working for the company, but also as a product user, I believe in that, and I will not accept anything less.
Well, if we can get the same kind of results that that you are getting and that Stephen is, or that you both are getting, I think that we can also trust the brand that you're using. So, and if the Olympians trust it and NASA trusts it, I think that says a lot as well. So thank you so much for sharing all of your great tips with us and just your words of wisdom. And yeah, I really wish you the best as you train for the 145, was it the UTMB Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc? So that'll be a great run through the French Alps, I'm sure. So all the best for you as you train for that. And Stephen, thank you so much, and all the best with you as well as you keep encouraging other people to stay active. So I think my takeaways are to recover properly and to keep moving and to use the Shackley brand. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.